No man holds power forever, and no republic survives by accident. Picture the west front of the United States Capitol on January 20th, 2021, rows of flags instead of faces, soldiers instead of cheering crowds, the echo of an oath carried across cold air. Chief Justice John Roberts raises a hand. Joseph R. Biden Jr. repeats his words. Kamala Harris stands nearby. The city is guarded, shuttered, uncertain. 2 weeks before, those same steps shook with anger. Yet at noon, power passed quietly, lawfully, completely. Why did that moment feel both fragile and firm? Because a ceremony alone cannot save a people, but faith in the ceremony can. The inauguration of 2021 was unlike any we had seen. Security fences ringed Pennsylvania Avenue. Across the mall, flags marked where citizens could not gather. Barriers kept order, masks kept distance, and the outgoing president, Donald Trump, did not attend, a break with modern custom, though not the first in history. John Adams in 1801, John Quincy Adams in 1829, and Andrew Johnson in 1869 likewise stayed away. Still, the oath was spoken, the clock struck noon, and the continuity of government held. But what gives that oath its power when so much around it shakes? It is more than form. It is the Constitution made flesh in a single voice. Article 2, Section 1 requires every president to swear to preserve, protect, and defend that document. The 20th Amendment fixes the instant when authority transfers, neither a minute early nor late. The law, precise and patient, ensures no vacuum, no crown, no doubt about command. Even when a word is misplaced, as in 2009 when Chief Justice Roberts and Barack Obama transposed a phrase, the intent remains sacred because purpose, not perfection, carries the oath's meaning. Law gives structure, yet something higher gives it life. And that higher thing is faith, the choice to honor the law even when victory tempts pride. I have seen what happens when power clings to itself against reason. It breeds fear, then violence, then ruin. Then, picture Washington City in 1801. The streets are mud, the Capitol half-built, the government young. John Adams has left at dawn, unwilling to see the man who defeated him. Into that silence rides Thomas Jefferson, who speaks to a divided crowd. We are all Federalists, we are all Republicans. That day the Republic proved that change could come without blood. From that plain moment of humility grew the greatest habit of freedom, the acceptance that power belongs first to the law, not to the person who wields it. Can words alone protect a nation? History says no. Only virtue can. Think of 1963 aboard Air Force One on the runway in Dallas. Judge Sarah T. Hughes stands before Vice President Lyndon Johnson. The body of President John F. Kennedy lies nearby. Shock grips every face. Yet there, in mid-air grief, the oath is given again, the Republic's chain unbroken. That image tells us what the Constitution truly promises, not calm, but continuity. So long as someone is willing to speak the words in fidelity, government lives. What happens when pride refuses peace, when a leader or a crowd chooses resentment over order? But America was made to test a different answer. Our law allows disagreement without rebellion, succession without purge. Every lawful inauguration therefore measures how firmly we believe that the ballot, not the bullet, must decide the future. Picture the marble steps again, years apart. Jefferson's small crowd, Lincoln's in 1865, black cloth on more than one heart, Johnson's plain, Biden's masked dais, each scene different, the same promise echoing through them all. No matter how bitter the campaign, noon on January 20th resets the Republic by consent, not conquest. Yet that consent can fade. Nations forget that ceremony is covenant. When citizens mock the oath as empty theater, they chip away at their own safety. To doubt the structure of lawful transfer is to doubt the ground on which all freedom stands. But to renew respect for it, to teach it, defend it, honor it, is to guard the Republic more surely than any army. The founders knew this. They gave no throne to occupy, no title fixed by birth, only an office that ends when the clock and the Constitution together declare it so. That limit is the secret of our endurance. power released is power restored. And yet the story does not end with presidents. It ends with those who watch, who vote, who believe. Every citizen holds a fragment of the oath. Each time you accept an outcome, even one that brings you pain, you testify that law still rules. Each time you welcome a new leader under that rule, you renew the nation's heart. To keep faith when trust seems thin, that is the true test of citizenship. Picture a teacher in Richmond showing students a copy of the inaugural oath. Picture a soldier in uniform saluting not a man, but the moment of lawful change. Picture a mother in Ohio turning on the television to show her child that peace can still prevail between opponents. These quiet acts, repeated in every generation, bind the Union tighter than any chain of steel. The Republic's real ceremony is not on the steps of the Capitol alone. It unfolds in living rooms, classrooms, and quiet hearts that still believe the law is worth keeping. The oath on the Capitol steps is the nation's voice, but the echo lives everywhere that citizens still obey the peaceful rule of change. Picture the East Room of the White House at dawn, furniture half covered, staff waiting for new orders. One president leaves through the north portico door, another enters through the same frame only hours later. The house is the same, the duties the same, yet every 4 years it becomes new again, without a blow struck or a door barred. That is not chance. That is habit trained by conscience, and conscience needs tending. It fades when citizens treat politics as a sport and elections as war. It revives when people recall that the loser in a fair contest is not an enemy, but a partner in the work of self-government. That rhythm is our moral inheritance. There once was fear that it could not last. In 1861, as cannon aimed at Fort Sumter, I felt that fear myself. The Constitution seemed a line of ink before a sea of division. But even then, when battle came, elections continued. In 1864, soldiers away from home still cast ballots, and when defeat was feared, the people still voted. That year, law conquered passion, and the Republic endured. Imagine the courtroom in Philadelphia where the Constitution was read aloud for the first time. Quill pens scratched, candles flickered. Men argued over how to bind ambition to duty. They chose not guarantees of harmony, but restraints of power. For 2 centuries those restraints have held because people of every side kept them. The law, though written on paper, lives only by the character of those who serve it. Presidents, judges, voters, all are bound by the same unseen thread, the promise that no office is greater than the order that created it. Now the thread feels strained once more. Many citizens doubt the fairness of what they cannot control. Many fear that the other side means to undo the nation itself. But despair is no cure for doubt. Only patience and proof can heal it. Each lawful oath, even when distrusted, buys time for reason to work again. Think of a January morning 4 years from now, or 40. The crowd may cheer or grumble, the speaker may inspire or weary. Yet the same Bible will rest beneath the same hand, the same words will pass from one voice to another, and the old pledge will rise once more over the winter air. Somewhere a child will watch and learn that freedom does not mean doing as one pleases, but keeping promise when the moment demands restraint. That child may never recall the flags that filled the mall in 2021, or the fences that kept citizens back, but they will remember that even guarded, even doubted, the ceremony still came to pass. In all the noise of our age, truth remains simple. The Republic is not held by parties or presidents, but by the keepers of their word. When the oath is honored, law breathes. When it is mocked, liberty gasps. Every generation must decide which it will choose. So the task before you is not grand in show, but deep in meaning. You hold a share of the same trust sworn on the steps of the Capitol to preserve, protect, and defend what is larger than any man. If you keep that trust, the Republic's promise endures. And though storms may rise again, the calm within the law will guide the way. The Republic can be saved. When that oath is spoken next, and the time for change comes again, will you still believe in the peace that makes it possible?